Everybody, we're gonna make this real quick and simple because a girl got to get back to work. But needless to say, I am so happy that QOP is back with our IG Live Talk series. It's been a minute, it's been a while since we've had it for a little bit. And I'm so excited that we've had over 20 guests. When I have looked over my numerical numbers, 20 people that we had as special guests, and I have been a joy to learn different topics, different genres, different positions of everyone doing different tactics of storytelling, and it's been such a joy to have. Like I said, the IG Live Talk series is not going to have their full episodes on IG Live Talk anymore. We will be moving it over into the YouTube channel. So once this interview is finished, we're going to make sure we have it over into the YouTube channel so that way you all can like, share, view, comment, subscribe, all the things. So as we've come back, I have been so excited to be able to really kind of tap into the indie world, and shout out to every queen creative who is in that space and just going back to the basics. I know with things going on in Hollywood and everything going on with the industry, especially with the recently that's been going on, I think it is a joy that everyone is going indie and owning their ownership, owning their IP, owning their content, and being able to put it in their own platforms and their own audiences so they can be able to have their own algorithms and their own data so they can sell it to their numbers and the highest bidder. Okay, and so without further ado, I have an amazing queen and special guest that we have first runner up. I heard a lot of people, like, once I post this specific guest, I had a lot of likes, a lot of shares, a lot of reposts, a lot of just excitement for this particular creative. And I am excited because this particular queen has supported Queens of Production through and through just likes, shares, looking at our stories all the time. And from there, I was like, what are you doing? I would love to be able to put you on our platform. Now that we are talking about indie and talking about the indie space, I want to have you as our first guest. So without further ado, I am excited to have Miss Gloria Brown. Glow, if you want to know. She is a creative, a director, a writer. A lot of people said that she is a powerhouse writer, okay? And a producer that has her own project. It's a rap. It's a series that's going to be focused on an up-and-coming rapper who is grinding to chase his dreams while being pulled into different directions, love, temptation, and going legit while standing on his faith as he tries to break cycles and change the trajectory of his life. I am so excited to be able to tap into this because not a lot of people really go into the faith-based projects. And if they do, it goes a little bit left. But I really like seeing her platform and her development and seeing some of the stuff that she was able to give me a juicy little taste of. It is really good. And so without further ado, I'm going to have my queen come up in here because, listen, I can't give more. I know that she has a journey within itself. So hopefully, yes, came through. Hey, Glow.
Hey,
How
hey
you doing?
Tony.
How
I'm
you
good. How you
doing?
doing?
I'm doing really well. How is your day going so far?
It's going good. It's going. How about yours?
It's going good. I'm kind of glad that, like, the weather with California is getting a little bit better. So it's like,
Right?
because it is looking a
Finally.
little rainy, but it is good. So,
Exactly.
listen, Glow, I'm just going to tap right down, dive into it, your roles, and how you just got into being a creative, a producer, a writer, a director, all of the multi hyphenates that we are doing today. I feel like that is your role. So, tell me how you got into storytelling, and tell me, out of all the roles, which one did you start first?
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I've always enjoyed storytelling just from when I was younger, just making up stories, telling them to my family and friends. And so it's really always been a part of me. And so it was something, though, that I didn't think that I could do.
Hmm.
Right. So I didn't think that it was possible until I started seeing like Issa Rae and like what she had going on and stuff like that, which gave me hope to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so then I just kind of like stepped out with passion and just being really ambitious. And so I created a web series and I put together a crew, a writer's room, and put together a cast and crew, which we was able to do the web series, but it ultimately died at the editing table just
Mhm.
because I wasn't equipped to handle the team and what I was growing at the time. I didn't know anything about it. So that's ultimately where it died. filmmakers, which I ended up being a part of like three of their film challenges, and I won a few out of them. And so I started writing, directed, and I originally started acting.
Oh wow. Okay, so tell me a little bit about that acting side. I
Yeah.
feel like every writer, director, or somebody that like transition behind the scenes has tapped into acting in some shape or form. I would say not for myself because I never wanted to be in front of the
Yeah.
camera,
What? Yeah.
but I know most others, like especially in the scripted world, they have some type of taste or form in the acting space that gives them that like oomph to go behind the scenes. Did that
Yeah.
kind of happen for you as well?
I would say that was probably really my first love, really when I'm thinking about it,
Okay.
was acting, and I wanted to be an actress. And so when I started doing the web series that I was telling you about, ultimately I was the main character. So you could just imagine, like, I didn't already know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
Then I'm acting, I'm trying to direct everybody else, direct myself as well. So it was kind of hard. It was a little tough for me, to be honest. But ultimately I said from there, I'm like, I'm going to take a step back and I'm
Yeah.
going to just focus on writing, directing, and producing, which is what I've been doing. But out of the things you just talked about being a multi hyphenate, but out of the things I say my first love is it was acting, but it's writing.
Oh, wow. And so, what would maybe be, because I always tell my special guests, there's always a reference, a foundation, or a history, because I'm also an archival. So, there's always a history or a teaching that gives you that inspiration. And so, for you, for writing specifically, what would be some of your like I would say your Mount Rushmore, like top four writers that got you inspired?
Oh, you know what? So from a young age, I'm gonna be really transparent. I really didn't know who a lot of the writers were. It was
Mm,
something like I took a liking to like filmmaking and like movies and series and stuff like that, but I never thought to be like, oh, let me look them up and see who the director was. Let me look it up and see who the writer was. That was just
yeah.
something I didn't think to do because again, I didn't think that it was something that was possible. So it's
Mm,
just, but today I could talk about today. Today I would say definitely Issa Rae, Ava DuVernay, Lena Wyatt, Ryan Coogler,
yeah.
they definitely inspire me. John Singleton, for sure.
For sure. For sure.
Yes.
Wow. And those are like literally the giants and even more. But I feel like for writing, it's a very specific task. And like you said, like how you had to be like the forefront. It literally reminds me of Issa because Issa did the same thing. Like she was the main character that wound up being insecure that wound up being a franchise. And so for you,
Right.
when you go into writing, there's always different genres that most people don't talk about. Like most people, especially when it comes to black writing, it's either two things. And I think this generation has opened up different tastes of writing. Like, shout out to Monkey Paw with like the thriller suspense, but not too gory. I mean, they get there, but some of their stuff is suspenseful, is like psychological, then compared to other stuff. Like, and so for you and your writing, what would you kind of put your genre of different tastes, a different style of writing that you like?
um, I definitely like writing dramas for
Okay.
sure.
Grey's
Um,
Anatomy?
um, no, not Grey's.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I do
What
like
is it
Grey's
given?
Anatomy. I do like Grey's Anatomy. Don't get me wrong. I haven't watched it in a while, but I do like Grey's Anatomy. But I would say more just drama based. Not necessarily Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
I'll think of something to get back to you on that one. But I also really enjoy watching suspense.
Yeah.
And so I did actually try my hand at that. It didn't go too good for me. I wasn't
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't the proudest behind what I had actually created. I liked it, the story, the script, but I didn't like the way that it came out in film,
And I feel like
but
always with storytellers, they're always gonna have that one project that like didn't go as
yeah.
planned or like didn't go too far. But what would honestly say for this particular project that you have, it's a wrap. What kind of put everything together to finally make that one go to the finish line?
You know what? I actually had started to do two different ones. I was trying to do a comedy, and I had actually got together with some writers to
Yeah.
create another writers room to do a comedy series. And at the same time, I was also simultaneously working on It's a Wrap. And so that kind of fell again through with just
Yeah.
trying to write with somebody else. It didn't go the way that I wanted it to. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and push It's a Wrap because I'm also passionate about It's a Wrap and I love it. So I was like, you know what? I believe that things happen for a reason. So I was like, you know what? God is telling me, let's go with this one because I ultimately pray first and I ask for his will. And
Mhm.
so the fact that it didn't work out, I was like, this is confirmation that I need to be going with It's a Wrap. And so that's when I pushed forward with that one.
And tell us a little bit about the project. What are the characters? What is the overall log line? And what would you want your audience to take away from this particular project when they watch it?
So the log line is It's a Rap is about an up and coming rapper who's grinding to chase his dreams while being pulled in different directions, love, temptation, and going legit. While trying to break, he's also, hold on, he's standing on his faith while trying to break generational cycles and change the trajectory of his life.
Mm.
And so he's somebody who is ambitious. He it's a little messy. He don't have it all the way together, but at the same time, he's grinding to chase his dreams, and so it's not perfect. He might have to bend the rules in order to succeed and in order to be able to fund the things that he needs to. But he's stepping out on faith, and so he's strong minded. He's loyal, and he's really complex, and that's what I love about him because he feels very three-dimensional.
Mm. Okay, and so my biggest question for you, it goes into our faith-based projects. And so going into our faith-based projects, what do you feel like is the pro and con that some creatives kind of don't hit the mark when it comes to faith-based movies or faith-based content? Because like I said, some of it has gone really good where it can like hit the mark, like Fighting Temptation with Beyonce, which is my favorite movie. It had all the classics. Angie Stone, rest in peace, and everyone. But then
Right.
sometimes faith-based projects can go left, and it could get very quirky. And I don't want to say one particular one that has done in the past that is very controversial in his projects. Some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah.
But for you, what is some pros and cons when it comes to faith-based projects, and what do you feel like your project with It's a Wrap is going to break that like stigma?
Um,
I know that's a
that's a
tough
good question.
question.
That's a good question, though. I like that. Got me thinking over here, girl. No, I like that. I think that pretty much what you just kind of said, like some of them can kind of come off a little bit too over the top, in my opinion. I'm not here to critique them or anything like that, but that's just my opinion. And for me, it was important to just have It's a Rap feeling real and grounded. It's not centered out, well, it is centered upon God and his faith,
Yeah.
but it's done in an authentic way. It's not, it doesn't feel like the story is about God because it's about him and the things that he's going through, but it's strong because he's standing on his faith. And so that's what keeps him going and keeps him motivated when he wants to stop. And so the relationship that he has with one of the characters, when he is doubting and when he's second guessing himself or he's going through something tough, she reminds him, like, to have faith in God and this is where he needs to pray. And so it's those type of things to me that was important to show in this, that he's human. And so even though he's flawed, he's still someone who believes in God and still pray and have faith no matter what.
I love that. Yes. And so when is the plan? Like, what is the like process of the project? Is it almost done? Is it almost about to air? What is the status of what we're looking to for It's a Wrap?
Yeah, so we're currently in post production right now. And so the premiere is going to be May 30th. So the like probably the first week of June is when we're looking to drop it. I'll
Nice.
be sending you an invitation too. I would love for you to come to the premiere.
Oh, is it going to be LA based? If it's LA
Yes, it
based, then I will
is.
definitely try to be there
Yes,
to
it will.
support. Yes, I'm excited. Well, QOP, we got a little invitation on
Yeah.
the low to be able to go to her projects, and yes, we will be able to support as much as we can.
Thank you.
And I would honestly say a couple of more questions as we dive into just the process of the product.
Hmm.
And so you said kind of like the first time you said, there was some, miscommunications and things had happened where the project kind of fell through on some other ones. And so for this one, for It's a Wrap, what would be some advice for an up and coming creative that may have had like some faults in a project before and trying to get the motivation to create again? And so for you, like what gave you that motivation and what would be some advice that you would give to a specific future creative that's kind of in that bubble or in that like rigmarole? Like, do I do another project again? Like, is it gonna
Yeah.
happen? Is it gonna fall? Like, is it gonna fumble like last time? What would be some advice?
Yeah, I feel like, it's always gonna feel scary. Like you're never gonna feel ready. This is something that I've learned along the way, is that when I'm getting ready to film and like I'm scheduling a film date or something like that, like my mind tries to talk me out of it. And so I've come to realize that that's just fear ultimately. And so at first I used to allow it to stop me, but then I stopped allowing it to stop me. And so I just realized that you're never going to feel ready. Even if you failed, just understand that failure happens for you and not to you. And so take those lessons that you learn from failing and apply them to the next thing. Therefore, you don't do it again. So whatever mistakes you might have made, you should grow from that and learn from that. And you're never going to feel prepared and ready. Just step out anyway. That's what I would say.
Yeah. And so also I knew the biggest struggle that you have was post production. And so coming into this new project or just even overall, what was some new discoveries that you kind of learned in the pocket that you now have in your tool belt in regards to post production that you now can be able to be like, when I have future projects, that's the first thing that I have to keep in mind when I go into post production for a
Well,
project.
it started in post production because ultimately, for continuity purposes, I was all over the place. And so we'll be at one location and then we'll finish that scene at a whole different location. And so for, like I said, continuity, it just wasn't accurate across the line. And so I would just say, just be mindful of those type of things. You want to be proud of what you're putting out there. So just make sure, like, lighting, and I know we're talking about post, but I do want to add that just making sure that your lighting and your sound is up to par, and just make sure that if you're starting somewhere like a scene, you're continuing to do that scene when you pick up again in that same location. That's very important. But along the way in post production, I think that having a good sound mixer, just having a good editor, it makes a big difference on the story. And just make sure that um, you pay attention to your pacing.
Mm.
That's something that I would probably say for right now.
Oh wow. Definitely good tips because listen, as a creative, especially a multi hyphenate, like you get focused on one part of the role or one part of the like hat, and then one of the hats get like missed by the wayside. And
Yeah,
so it's good to have a team, or just even if you don't have the finances to have a team, maybe having mentorship or someone to be able
there
to
we
fall
go.
back on, so that way when you do like you know don't have the cost, you at least have advice or guidance to be able to help in those things. Because child, I agree the same.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes such a big difference. And I'm happy that you said that. Like mentorship, just having somebody that you can actually call on and let them know what's going on, and that can give you advice and put you in the right direction. Like that's really, really good. And just having people around you that's just a little bit more experienced than you, that makes a big difference as well.
100%. And so, is there anything? I know that the biggest topics right now, I know currently, I mean, I know that you are indie, but I don't know if you've been up to par with what's been going on with Hollywood, with the sales, the mergers, potentials of going back to strikes, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully not. With these renewals of contracts and unions, we can be able to get everything squared away. But how do you feel of the state of the industry in Hollywood, and where do you feel like the indie or independent creative space? Do you feel like it is now skyrocketed, or do you feel like it's still kind of going to be in the same roller coaster that it has been since the pandemic?
I definitely feel like it's skyrocketed. I think that you can look at somebody like Markiplier,
Yeah, yeah.
and you can see what he's done and just how he made all of those sales in the box office the first weekend that his film was dropped. Like that's so inspiring, and that right there just puts indie filmmaking to me at a different level. And so I think that we have platforms and we have the capability to be able to put out our own films and market our own stuff until we get the audience that we're looking for.
100%. And so, how do you feel like the new era of, like how you said, we can now own and control our own audience, control our own marketing? Where do you feel like you kind of fit in with your projects? How have you been able to kind of hit your marketing? What would be some advice that you would tell someone being able to just, now I got my project, now I got to put my own stuff out there? What would be some advice for someone that has to be in that market or in that space?
Yeah, so I want to say that this is my first project outside of women of color filmmakers that was part of film challenges. So again, that gave me the confidence to be able to do what I'm doing now. So this is the first one. And so with that, one thing that I look at, because it's a rap is about a rapper. So one
Yeah.
thing that I look at is their grind. I respect independent rappers grind. And so they don't wait for permission. They actually market themselves. They shoot their own videos. They pop the trunk, sell CDs if they have to. Like, and so that's something that I actually respect and I really admire. And so I kind of came into this project with that mindset, with just being like, you know what, I'm gonna have to market this myself. Like I plan on doing this kind of different. So just taking opportunities like the one right now with you and going on a platform to kind of talk about it. Also, I was nominated to be in Shout Out LA. So just,
Yes.
yeah. And then also we created a podcast myself. One of the main actors that he's the lead actor actually in It's a Rap, and one of the other actresses on It's a Rap. We all created a podcast called Level by Level, where we
Nice.
talk about our journeys and we talk about other creative journeys. And so those are ways to also kind of like promote it as well. We created it to expand marketing and talk about It's a Rap originally,
Yeah.
and to I guess share BTS, but then it turned into something that was just far more greater than that. And so doing things like that, I think just whatever it is that you can do to self promote, like don't limit yourself. Just keep pushing forward and just keep knocking down boundaries and creating your own table.
I love that. And so, as we kind of wrap out into our IG Live Talk combo, I am so excited to be able to go to this project over early into this summer. So, definitely, what will be some platforms and spaces that we can be able to continue to follow the journey of It's a Rap, continue to follow your
Yeah.
journey as a collective, as a creative, and all your projects? Where can we follow you?
Thank you. So let me tell you, let me look at my IG handle because I
Listen,
don't
because
know
let me tell
it.
you, especially being a creative, you will have multiple Instagrams, multiple
Yes,
projects, and multiple pages that you will have to follow, as well as a website.
exactly. So for mine is gbr.own. That's my Instagram handle. And then It's a Wrap. I believe it's just It's a Wrap, but let me double check. Um, it's a Wrap series and rap with a W.
Nice.
It's a
Got
rap series. And then the podcast is Level by Level. Just double check. Yeah, it's Level by Level podcast.
Perfect. All right, sweet. Well, like I
Yes.
said, you have multiple pages that you can support Glow, support her project. It's a wrap. We're going to be able to tap into it later this summer, but I'm so excited to be able to see the journey. Congratulations, Glow, just
Thank
even
you. Thank
ahead
you
of
so
time.
much.
And like I always say with QOP, always make sure that you own your own stuff. You be able to
Absolutely.
educate and advocate for those that are not only above the line, but below the line and everything, because we all matter in doing what we do best, which is creating not only TV, but film and also social media. Because now we are into vertical series and they are in the
Right?
gold rush of that child of micro dramas. So social media is now in the running to get an Oscar one day. Okay,
Right.
so we
Exactly.
have to be able to tap in and utilize, now that everybody's getting into putting every content, pretty much putting your best of best on your phone now. So
Yeah.
I don't knock it for everyone, and I say for every indie project or any indie creative, don't feel like you are in FOMO or in rush. If it takes the time, it needs to take the time.
Absolutely.
And we have platforms like Queens of Production. Shout out to Blex Media. I will go to her page, because she is a beautiful way of marketing and supporting those that have indie projects, as well as Hollywood as well, and what's going on in the industry. But continue to support Queens of Production and all of our platforms. We are a
Absolutely.
resource hub to continue to support not only Glow, but many other artists that we have. We actually have another IG Live Talk that's going to be coming up March the 2nd with Kendra, and she also has her project attached, fully self-funded. And so I love it. I love it. I love it. And so continue to literally support one another.
Absolutely.
Glow, I love your projects. I love your work. So continue to do the work that you do.
Thank you.
Any last mantra or affirmation that you want to give to your creatives, as we kind of go along with this journey as we wrap?
Yeah, I was thinking about something that you asked me earlier about the advice as far as forgiving them. I just also want to make sure that I add that don't wait to feel like you have all the money in the bank. Like that's, you got to look to your resources. Like who do you know that has a house? Who do you know that has an apartment? Who has a store? Are you cool with the store owner? Do you know somebody who has a restaurant? Just utilize your resources, and then you can just make it happen from there. So don't make excuses. Just step out on faith, and just make it happen.
I love it, Glow. Come on, just do it like Nike. Yes, say it like Nike, like you said.
Hey,
And like I said too, I
Tay.
think there was a post also, like, you don't even have to have a fancy camera. People
Yeah,
are doing stuff on their iPhone.
exactly.
Like, as long as your iPhone ain't cracked and you got at least the latest, updated
Yes,
phone, you can utilize the 4K options that they have on there, the frames per second, that'll make at least your proof of concept look good enough to get you what you need to go to somewhere.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree.
So, like I said with Glow, it was amazing to have this combo with you. I cannot wait to follow all the projects immediately. And like
Oh,
I said
thank
with
you.
QOP, we will always continue to support our creatives, both indie and in Hollywood. Like I
Well,
always say,
I appreciate that so much, and I look forward to coming on your next IG Live. I can't wait to hear her on here, and I'm looking forward to that. And
yes,
yes, I
we
will
need to have
be.
you when you come back with the aftermath and be able to get
I
like
would
deep
love that. Let's
afterwards.
do that. I would love that.
Okay, already in the books, already in the books. We'll
Okay.
probably try to do it during the summer. So probably sometime later in the summer we are on
Okay.
to do that. Okay, for sure. All right then. Well, like I always say with QOP, live, love, and create. Glow, it was such a blessing to be able to have you on this platform.
Thank
And like
you.
I always say with indies,
Likewise.
keep creating, y'all. All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you so
Deuces.
much. All
Bye,
right.
love.
All right. Bye.